after that home opening loss, and they did exactly that with the 118-111 win over the Pelicans. The Big Three played big. LeBron had a triple-double, 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. Irving, 32 points. Love, 22.
What pleases you most about your game?
The assists and the rebounding. To be able
And here's the third.
Look, to be able to help my guys out on the glass and get my guys open looks and make them, that's I don't care about the points. So those things will come. Help the bigs out on the glass, get guys like this the ball where they can score. That pleases me.
Love giving LeBron some love. The Cavs still struggled on defense, but a good offense still won the game at the end of the day. Stephen A., in your opinion, do you believe the Cavs have figured it out?
No, not yet, but they will. I mean, we all knew that they weren't going to, they're 1-3 start and being under 500 and all of this other stuff. We knew that was not going to last. People have to understand that, we don't get to sit here and do a TV show and just sit there and say, well, we don't need to do the show because they're going to be there in May. It doesn't work that way. You chronicle things as they're transpiring to really highlight and illuminate what's going on at a particular moment in time. And that's what we were doing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, as everybody else was. The fact is, LeBron James has periodically been your point forward. He had a triple-double last night. Kyrie Irving played off the ball, shot 11 of 21 from the field. Kevin Love hit 6 3-point shots. All three shot over 50%. Unless you think that's something that's going to happen on a night-in, night-out basis, it remains to be seen how effective they're going to be. We can prognosticate, which I have done. Obviously, most of us have them going to the Eastern Conference Finals because we know how elite talent, how big-time talented they are. LeBron James is the best in the world. Kyrie Irving is a young miniature stud. Kevin Love can ball. He can step out and shoot the three. He's a walking double-double. All of those things are true. But how are you going to continue to mesh as the season progresses? I think last night was a really good sign because LeBron James played with the ball as a point forward. He asked Kyrie Irving at halftime, you ready to play? You ready to start playing? And Kyrie smiled and said, yes, I am, and then went out there and put on a show in the second half. You see that kind of camaraderie that's developing, and that's something that LeBron James is clearly capable of doing because he's the kind of leader that'll ultimately get guys to want to ingratiate themselves with him and vice versa, and I think that's the big plus. But in the end, are they going to be talented enough to pull it off? It remains to be seen because I think the biggest question mark is their coach as opposed to the players themselves.
Wow. And what do you mean by that exactly?
Well, I think the coach is a novice. I think he's very talented. I think that a lot of good things are said about him. But if you've never coached on the NBA level and you've got players that never played together on the NBA level, you're asking for a lot to expect them all to gel as one before the season expires. Remember, Eric Spoelstra, even though he is ultimately able to pull it off because he had Dwayne Wade, but he didn't have Bosh and LeBron, remember, he still had Pat Riley. And that's the difference. If you're David Blatt, you've got David Giffen, you've got Dan Gilbert. Not exactly Pat Riley.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's interesting. Before I answer the original question, speaking of David Blatt, he really tried to assert himself as the new coach of the Cavaliers after the game. Did you see his remarks about defense or lack thereof when he said...
no, I did not.
Yeah, right after the game, he was talking about how we had moments of lethargy on defense. One of the reporters asked LeBron about lethargy, and he made a joke. I don't even know what that word means. Obviously, David Blatt went to Princeton while LeBron went to the NBA. But I think LeBron knows what the word lethargy is because he's a very smart man. So then David Blatt went on to say that you can't consistently beat great or very good or even good teams if you sleep on defense for parts of the game or even parts of a quarter. So he was really trying to say, I'm Coach Blatt here, and I'm not going to overreact to us offensively last night, even after one star, LeBron James, went for 32 and 10 assists, and the other star that we talked about last week might be at some odds with LeBron. Kyrie went for 32 and 9 assists. Well, I'd say just in the box score, that's working. But Blatt's saying it's not working on defense. Well, you know and I know, nobody ever accused Kevin Love of playing great defense in Minnesota, or no one accused Kyrie of playing great defense in Cleveland pre-LeBron James. So that's where they're going to have to figure it out if they're talking about winning a championship this year. But I must say, we were hard on them last week, LeBron versus Kyrie. I watched this game from start to finish. I really liked what I saw on offense. Obviously, LeBron was he was engaged right from the start. There was no walking away from the play when Kyrie had the ball. They shared it. They pick and rolled with each other occasionally. And I liked the blend, Stephen A., of they were down 5 at half. LeBron had a surge early in the third quarter, but they were still down. And then Kyrie just went ballistic offensively. He scored 11 straight points from about the 5-minute mark down to the end of the quarter. This is the third quarter. That were as explosive as anybody in the NBA can score points. We talk about it. This young man can flat out score the basketball. And then Kevin Love in the fourth quarter, he didn't make just a couple of threes. He made 4 threes. He made 3 in a row to start the fourth quarter, and then he iced it with 3:29 left with his fourth 3. Well, if Kevin Love is going to make spot-up three-point shots, many of them on assists from LeBron James cross-court, they're pretty lethal, man, if he's going to make 4 of them in the fourth quarter. So I like the fit of it's LeBron's turn, then it's really Kyrie's turn, and then finally it's Kevin Love's turn. I like that. Are they going to have to play better defense? Obviously, LeBron can play great defense when he decides, but team defense, I think they're going to have a problem unless they play Sean Marion more, because Ryan Anderson was killing him last night. He wound up with 32. He got goose-egged in the third quarter because Sean Marion played the third quarter and just took him out of his game. Well, maybe they'll have to do more of that. Maybe they'll have to mix in Matrix a little more often.
I definitely agree with you. I mean, listen, the trio, they can be very lethal. I mean, Kevin Love needs to be given more respect. Yeah, he didn't make the playoffs in all 6 years in Minnesota, but he was the #1 offensive option. I mean, he averaged 26 and 12 last year, Skip Bayless. I mean, you got to give this brother respect to do what he did in the Western Conference, and now to be in the Eastern Conference, capable of hitting big shots. I got a lot of belief in Kevin Love. I think Kyrie Irving, like I've said on many occasions, is going to be one of the top 3 point guards in the game within 2-3 years. I just think he's a scoring machine. He can wreak havoc. He can really, I mean, he can cause some significant problems. The question is, can they gel? And are you going to have the horses to really be able to pull it off on the defensive side of the ball? Because nobody's worried about Kevin Love defensively, nor Anderson Varejao for that matter, even though he can play defense. He's a bit older now. The health isn't 100%. All of those things factor into the equation. I don't worry about Cleveland offensively. I think they'll figure it out because I think LeBron is a leader and he'll get guys to play with him. And Kyrie Irving, again, he might have been a bit hard-headed, but again, it was for the right reasons because he's a young stud and he knows it and he's confident. And that's a good problem to have. But the problem is defensively, what are you going to be able to do to really stop what's going to come your way out west? And how are you going to match the defensive intensity of a Chicago Bulls squad, assuming Derrick Rose is healthy? That remains to be seen. Yeah, and I agree with you, and we talked about it again yesterday. If Derrick Rose is healthy, well, he sure looked healthy last night against Detroit because that was spectacular what he did. So if he stays healthy, this team's going to have to really grow defensively to match that. I'm telling you, Derrick Rose healthy is something to watch.
The Cavs aren't the only team that's new, working with